So, let me ask you something. What kind of world are we living in when a decorated war veteran, a prince, a man who literally risked his life on the battlefield for his country, is told he's not worth protecting? What message does it send when Prince Harry, who has served with honor, who has endured the relentless attacks of the tabloid press, who has put his own safety second to his duty as a son, husband, and father, is stripped of the very protection that should come as basic human decency? Because that's exactly what's happening right now. This isn't speculation, this isn't rumor, this is fact, detailed in court documents, aired out for the world to see. Prince Harry was the target of a threat from none other than Al-Qaeda, an actual global terrorist organization. Not just a death threat from an online troll, but an orchestrated warning that called for his murder, and not a whisper of urgency from the UK government. Not a flicker of outrage from the same British media that's been following his every move since he was a boy. Instead, he was told, sorry, no taxpayer-funded police protection for you. I mean, what? The man is literally under threat from one of the most dangerous terror groups in the world, and the government's response is to downgrade his security? You have to ask yourself, what kind of vendetta are they carrying against this man that his safety means so little? And just look at the circumstances. Harry flies in from Montecito, not for a vacation, not to promote a new book, but to attend a court hearing to fight for his right to feel safe in the country of his birth. A place where his mother is buried, a place where his family name is etched into the national history, and yet he has to beg, in court, for the very protection that every other high-profile figure seems to be granted without question. We're not talking about privilege, we're talking about life and death. Now the government and their lawyers try to twist the facts. They say Harry's situation is unusual, that bespoke security measures are in place. But let me break this down. Bespoke in this case is a euphemism for inadequate, ineffective, and quite frankly, dangerous. Because it gives them the excuse to provide Harry with whatever level of protection they feel like offering on the day, without accountability, without consistency, and without transparency. Meanwhile, his lawyer, Shahid Fatima KC, laid it bare. She said plainly that not only was Harry's protection substandard, but that it had never even been properly assessed by the Risk Management Board, the very body set up to determine who gets what level of protection. That's not just neglect. That's willful negligence. And do you know what makes this even more heartbreaking? Prince Harry is fighting this battle not just for himself but for his wife and children, Archie and Lilibet, Meghan, his family. He knows what happened to his mother. He saw it unfold with his own eyes. He watched the British press pursue her, ridicule her, dehumanize her, and ultimately chase her to her death. He said from the beginning he would not let history repeat itself. And yet, here we are, watching the same institution that failed Diana try to do the same thing to Harry, strip away his security, leave him open to attacks, punish him for speaking out, all because he dared to choose love over duty, dared to say no, dared to protect his wife from the monster that ate his mother alive, and then the press has the audacity, the absolute nerve, to call him a hypocrite. Why? Because he visited Ukraine to meet wounded soldiers. You know, something he's always done, something he's respected for. They say, oh, how can he go to a war zone if he's scared to be in Britain? Do they hear themselves? Here's the truth they don't want to admit. The security Harry had in Ukraine was more robust than what he's allowed in the UK. That's not a guess. That's a fact confirmed by sources close to him. He had professionals, real protection. In Britain, they've left him vulnerable, so of course he feels safer in a war-torn country than he does walking through London. What does that say about the UK? And when Harry says, people would be shocked by what's being held back, believe him. Believe him because he's seen it, he's lived it. He's spent years being lied to, betrayed, and targeted. If he says there's more behind the scenes, then there's more, much more. He even called this case more important than any of his fights with the press. That's saying something. This is about more than headlines. This is about justice. It's about making sure that no one, royal or not, gets left behind because they made the mistake of loving out loud, because they chose peace over palace politics. And through all of this, Harry has remained calm, dignified, focused. He's not asking for special treatment. He's asking for equal treatment. He's asking for the same standard of protection any public figure at risk would receive. Instead, they've tried to make an example of him, and it's disgusting. He's exhausted and overwhelmed, as he told the court. Of course he is. He's been carrying the weight of this battle alone, with Meghan, against a system that's built to wear you down, to break your spirit. But he hasn't given up. Because this is what courage looks like, this is what leadership looks like, this is what it means to protect your family no matter the cost. And even now, with everything he's up against, Harry says he will continue the fight, no matter the outcome. That's strength, that's integrity, that's what the royal family should stand for, but too often falls short of. So let me tell you this, to all those out there who still try to tear him down, who try to reduce his worth, who say he should have stayed quiet, stayed in line, you're looking at the wrong prince. This is the man Diana raised, this is the man who took her lessons, her pain and her passion, and turned them into purpose. And to those who think stripping him of security will force him back into the fold, you couldn't be more wrong. Harry and Meghan have built a beautiful life in California, one grounded in truth, compassion, and freedom. They are not crawling back to the firm, they are thriving outside of it, and we will continue to support them every step of the way. Because here on the Royal Sussex Squad, we don't play games, we don't fall for the spin, we stand up for what's right, we call out injustice, we fight for the truth, and we back Harry and Meghan not because of their titles, but because of their humanity. So if you're with us, if you believe in what we're doing, if you want to help us push back against the noise and shine a light on the truth, then now's the time. Prince Harry brands his security in UK inadequate, inappropriate, and ineffective. As new court documents reveal, he requested police protection after Al-Qaeda threat. Prince Harry requested police protection after a threat was made against him by Al-Qaeda, court documents show. Last week, his lawyer told a public hearing that the terror group had called for him to murdered, after his taxpayer-funded security arrangements were downgraded. While several hours of the hearing were made public, part of the evidence was heard behind closed doors with a summary released on Thursday. It stated, the appellant confirmed that he had requested certain protection after a threat was made against him by Al-Qaeda. Harry, 40, traveled from his home in Montecito, California to attend the two-day hearing in London to challenge the decision to remove his automatic right to security when in the UK. His barrister, Shahid Fatima KC, said in a written submission to the court that Harry's security team were informed the terrorist group had published a document which stated his assassination would please the Muslim community. An exact date for Al-Qaeda's assassination threat was not revealed in Harry's legal submission, but in 2023 it was reported that he received death threats when he wrote in his tell-all autobiography Spare about killing 25 Taliban fighters while fighting in Afghanistan, comparing the victims to chess pieces. He has appealed the decision to downgrade his security arrangements, which were changed in February 2020 after he and wife Meghan stopped being working royals. The newly released court documents also revealed the prince's claims his bespoke security arrangements were inadequate, inappropriate, and ineffective. It said, since he stepped back in February 2020, the appellant has still not been provided with a RMB, Risk Management Board analysis. The protective security that until 2020 had been applied to him has changed and is inadequate, inappropriate, and ineffective. The Duke and his wife Meghan, the Duchess of Sussex, reportedly believed that establishing a happy life of their own would help thaw relations with the royal family. The couple saw the removal of their police protection as a way of trying to strong-arm them into returning to the UK, since they felt that, without security, visiting Britain would paint a target on their back. Harry took the decision to take legal action against the government to have his official security reinstated. The Duke said that the case was even more significant than his legal battles against the tabloid press that he once called his life's work. Speaking to the Telegraph, Harry said what he had experienced during the legal process had crossed a line and suggested he was upset with elements of the evidence that had been heard beyond closed doors this week in court. The prince said, people would be shocked by what's being held back. He added that his worst fears have been confirmed by the whole legal disclosure in this case, and that's really sad. As legal proceedings came to a close, Harry said he was exhausted and overwhelmed by the legal case. Even if Harry wins the appeal, the Royal and VIP Executive Committee may not be compelled to grant the Sussexes their wish to restore their security. The Duke said he was driven by exposing injustice and would continue to fight regardless of the outcome. Harry has been accused of hypocrisy after he met dozens of wounded soldiers in Ukraine earlier this week, despite claiming he and his family cannot be safe in Britain without taxpayer-funded police bodyguards. However, an insider told Mail Online that it is simply incorrect to suggest the Ukraine trip contradicts Harry's UK safety concerns or undermines his high court case, claiming the team protecting him was more robust than in Britain. But a source close to Harry has claimed that the level of protection on his Ukrainian trip was better than what he receives in the UK. He can go to Ukraine, a country with an active war zone, because he has a robust security detail, one that he does not have in his home country, they said. Mail Online reported earlier this week that Prince Harry did not see his father the King after flying into the UK for the legal hearing. The Duke of Sussex landed from Los Angeles last Sunday, but his father spent the weekend at Highgrove, his private Gloucestershire home, resting ahead of this week's busy state visit to Italy. Prince Harry's taxpayer-funded security was cut after his highly unusual decision to quit royal duties and spend most of the time abroad, the High Court heard in the appeal hearing this week. The Duke of Sussex claimed he was singled out for inferior treatment when the Executive Committee for the Protection of Royalty and Public Figures, RAVEC, stripped him of his top-level security in February 2020 following Megxit. But Sir James 80 KC, representing the Home Office, has said it had discretion to strip his guaranteed full-time police security without consulting the Risk Management Board, RMB Quango. RMB risk analysis is the usual approach in usual cases, he told the High Court earlier this week. But there is nothing about the appellant's Prince Harry's announcement in January 2020 that he was to step back from his role in the royal family and spend most of the time abroad that was usual. Prince Harry's lawyer Shahid Fatima KC insisted that RAVEC failed to follow its own guidelines and should have commissioned an assessment of the Duke's security needs from the Risk Management Board, RMB. Ms. Fatima said, "The appellant, the Duke of Sussex, does not accept that bespoke means better. In fact, in his position it means he has been singled out for different inferior treatment." She added that the judge who previously ruled RAVEC had acted correctly was mistaken. But Barrister Sir James, speaking for the Home Secretary, told the High Court that his extremely unusual withdrawal from royal duties changed everything. He said it was hard to imagine someone more experienced and better placed than the chair of RAVEC to make a bespoke decision about how the Duke's security arrangements should change to accommodate the unique and unusual circumstances of the appellant, Prince Harry. And Sir James denied the Duke was treated unfairly and said he was not being singled out. On the contrary, the process being adopted had positive advantages for him. Make sure you subscribe to the Royal Sussex Squad. Hit that like button to push this video into more feeds. And if you want to go the extra mile and support our work, drop a super thanks to help keep us going. Because Harry isn't backing down, and neither are we. Long live the truth. Long live love. And long live the Duke and Duchess of Sussex. We see you, we hear you, we believe in you, and we've got your back, always.